Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at whether or not the Baltimore Ravens should pursue signing wide receiver Antonio Brown. But before getting into that topic, I want to hear from you guys. Question for those of you viewing, especially the Ravens fans out there. Do you want to see the Ravens pursue Antonio Brown? There's some risks to it, but either way, there is some upside potential. I want to hear from your guys. Do you want to see him go to Baltimore or not? Comment down below. And getting into the topic and seeing my opinion, to me, I think the Ravens should definitely look into it, see what he's going to cost, but you also have to look at Antonio Brown's perspective and understand whether or not you think he would even be interested in going into Baltimore. A couple of reasons I think Antonio Brown would actually be open to Baltimore is A, his cousin plays there. If you didn't know, Marquise Brown, kind of the number one receiver for the Baltimore Ravens, is Antonio Brown's cousin, so he's got family there. That is not a huge factor, but it's definitely at least something to throw in there and to consider if you're Antonio Brown. You got family there playing in Baltimore. You could go up there and be teammates with them. Another one, though, might be favoring Antonio Brown or it might be pushing him away from Baltimore, is that the Ravens are arguably the biggest rival ever to his former team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. He might look at it like, yes, I want to go to Baltimore and beat my former team. Totally against them now, bad history with them. Now I want to beat them and make sure they're never good again. I always want to be against the Steelers. Or he might look at the Steelers and say, no matter what happened, no matter how we broke up, they're my day one team. I don't want to go against them like that. I still have all love for them. I really don't know. That's a Antonio Brown question. Does he have spite and revenge in his mind against the Steelers, or is it all love and openness and he's totally for his team again? That is a Antonio Brown question. But to me, and it might not be a factor at all. Maybe he's just looking for a team that could pay him money. But to me, it's definitely a possibility one of those two are weighing into his decision if he's against the Steelers or he doesn't want to go against them like that. To me, I think I'd kind of want to play against them and beat them and show that I'm better off without them. Kind of already did that winning the Super Bowl ring without the Steelers, but still, now he gets to face them twice a year. That is a possibility. Another one is if he went to the Baltimore Ravens, he might be another number one receiver again. He might be looking for some stardom again. He might be looking to be one of the top guys in the league again. He might be trying to make a name to be a top 5 receiver again. And in Tampa Bay, he would have a good role, but if he went back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he would kind of be a shadow in the eyes of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Robert Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard. There's a lot of hands to go around there. Antonio Brown is just any other guy amongst that receiving core. And like I said, Antonio Brown is a great talent, and I do believe in him. He's starting to turn his career around, and he showed in Tampa that he could keep quiet and just worry about playing football. But if he's looking to, be the star of the show, be a face of the NFL again, I don't think he'd be able to do that in Tampa. Not to say he can't help out Tampa, but he won't be the number one guy in Tampa. In Baltimore, he could possibly emerge and be the number one guy. Looking at that receiving core, they desperately need a receiver. I like Mark Andrews. He's pretty good tight end, probably top 7, top 8 tight end in the NFL. Maybe top 5. I'd have to go through the list, but I think top 7, top 8 is a good spot for him. Marquise Brown, he's got speed, but he doesn't have a lot of size. Sammy Watkins, you kind of now have some size, but he's injury prone. Antonio Brown could be a stardom number one guy that could help out this receiving core. Like I said, I like Marquise Brown and Sammy Watkins, but I don't like them when they're reliantly your number one option. If they're a number 2 and number 3, then your receiving core is looking great when you got Antonio Brown to lead them, but still, we have to see what Antonio Brown has got left. Like I said, I think he has some gas in the tank, and he showed it in Tampa Bay, and I think he could turn things around, but we just have to see, can he still fill the number one role he might be looking for? And of course, the biggest reason he's not with Tampa anymore or isn't re-signed to Tampa already is the money aspect. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they want to sign Antonio Brown, but they just don't have the money to do so. They re-signed everyone else: Ndamukong Suh, Robert Gronkowski, Chris Godwin, Levante David, Shaq Barrett. They'd give Antonio Brown any penny they got left, but clearly he is not accepting it. They've already gave him a couple offers, and it's just they want to reconnect, but it is just not close according to Antonio Brown, and therefore the money aspect is clearly an issue. And I'm not saying the Baltimore Ravens are made of money, but the Buccaneers, they offered him a contract before signing Giovanni Bernard, and now that they signed a running back who's not making a lot of money by any means, but any penny would have counted going towards Antonio Brown. Now that they signed Bernard, they have even less to offer him than the Ravens. They're sitting around $10 million in cap space right now, and that's not a crap ton by any means, but I think it is enough that they can offer more than what the Bucs are offering Antonio Brown. And if you went to the Ravens, he's getting his money, he's playing with his cousin, he's playing against his rival team now, the Steelers. He could possibly be the number one guy, and he's getting his money yet still being a competitor. He's not going to a New York Jets and Detroit Lions and where he's getting money and going to be the number one guy, but going to go 4-13. He's going to a team that has a good chance of winning the division, has a good chance of making the playoffs, has a good chance of making a deep playoff run, has a chance of winning the Super Bowl. I mean, you got an MVP type quarterback, you have a great run game, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. If you had a receiving core with Antonio Brown, Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, Sammy Watkins, and the defense, I'm a little concerned about the pass rush losing Yannick Ngakoue and Matt Judon, but the secondary is pretty solid, and Marlon Humphreys, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith. And if they sign Antonio Brown in free agency, they can really focus on the defensive pass rush in the NFL draft. And if they didn't sign Antonio Brown then in the NFL draft, they kind of have some split decisions on what they want to focus on in the draft. Receiving core, offensive line, defensive line. But if they sign Antonio Brown, then it is already addressed in free agency, and you could dedicate the entire draft to both sides of the lines. So to me, if I'm the Ravens, I'm looking into it and see what he's cost. We need a number one receiver in. You might be like, the Ravens want nothing to do with him. He's washed up. He's crazy insane. But it's not unknown for the Ravens to sign a guy that's washed up, or they don't know what he's got left in the tank. It's kind of a wild card play, a great old veteran that had huge upside and used to be one of the best, and now we don't know what he is because they did it last year with Dez Bryant. Completely different case. Dez Bryant's been quiet. He's been keeping himself. He hasn't had the on and off of field, issues like Antonio Brown, but in a similar comparison, they did take a risk on signing a guy that used to be great, and now they don't know what he is, and they might be willing to do it again. Antonio Brown, and to me, he's riskier than Dez Bryant, but he has a lot more upside than Dez Bryant, so that is just a Ravens call. But from both perspectives, like I said, I think Antonio Brown liked playing his family, liked being the number one receiver on the team, liked playing against his rival, getting his money, and still being a competitor. And the Ravens, they desperately need a number one. They try to go out in free agency and get guys, and Juju Smith, even the Steelers' rival right now, they tried to get T.Y. Hilton, and they ended up settling for Sammy Watkins, who I think is a good pickup, but is not going to be the guy that helps this receiving core go to the Super Bowl by any means. And I just think Lamar Jackson, there's a lot of speculation and skepticism how he is throwing the football, and I get that, but he hasn't had the greatest receiving core to help him out anyways, and I think we could see his game take a big leap as well if he can win Antonio Brown and a safety blanket Mark Andrews, who he already loves. I think the receiving core would be great. With Antonio Brown, they could compete for the division right now. I think it's Browns, Ravens, neck and neck, and Antonio Brown could be the cherry on top to put the Ravens over the Browns, but we'll have to see what he costs. But if I'm the Ravens, I'm pursuing it and seeing what he costs, and if I can make a deal, I'm signing him. Not investing all my money into him. I'm probably going to sign him on a one-year prove-it deal, but I do think it is worth at least giving him a shot. But like I said, comment down below your guys' thoughts. Do you want to see Antonio Brown head to Baltimore, or do you want to keep him away as far as possible? Whatever your thoughts are, Ravens fans, comment them down below. And thanks for watching, guys. 2 in the morning.